Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I am your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to say anything? I just get you, normal introduction there, and you're just going to be like, nope, got nothing for you, Jared. Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me, Jared.
Recovering from a tough weekend.
Long weekend. I wouldn't say tough.
Long weekend playing Little League teams. Totally understand. It is what it is.
Same schedule as you guys.
Not me, guys. I don't have this. I don't coach for him. I don't play for him anymore. Not me, guys. That's why I can make fun of you guys now. It wouldn't fly if I was doing this. Yeah. Not same schedule. No.
Almost.
So, well, Nate, I like to start the podcast off with a question, but we are going Q&A for a little while here. You got a whole bunch of questions, and I figured I might just pump out a couple podcasts of Q&As. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far we get here, guys, with this. And our first question of the day comes from Jared Timms himself. You really thought I was going to just, not do a question of the day? Come on.
No.
Come on.
I didn't.
Come on. Favorite cookie?
Favorite cookie. Oh my.
Favorite kind of cookie?
Yeah. Campitelli's is always a good place to go, which I'm sure you miss back in Idaho now.
Yep. You got a favorite kind of cookie from there? I'm just trying to zone this one in because there's one there that is the best cookie.
I like the white macadamia nut, which is always a good one. White chocolate chip is good. The double chocolate chip is really good.
It's good there. You're right. There's one that's Farley's not a correct word. Much better than the other ones, by the way.
If you say oatmeal raisin, you're gonna get hounded.
There's I think it's a butter. I don't know if it's butter. It's a toffee.
Okay.
The best cookie of all time. Not even gonna lie. The reason why I asked you this because I just went and spent $10 on some crumble cookies. You ever had crumble?
Yeah, I have. Very expensive. Not bad though.
Not bad. No, not bad at all. They're good. They're a little overpriced, but figured we'd go that way with it. So yeah, that's my question. So as always, guys, thanks so much for listening to this podcast, listening to us banter here a little bit. I know that wasn't a baseball related question, but figured we can see how this goes for the day. And again, if you could just press the subscribe button below. If you are watching us, pound that subscribe button. If you are listening to us as well, wherever you're listening to us, leave us a review, whether it's good or bad. Do not mind it, good or bad, make us better or worse. I don't really care. I enjoy doing this on the side. Don't need money. Don't need it. You can offer me money if you want, but it's not going to happen. So, and guys, stay tuned for the takeover. It's happening. I'm letting you know. I know I've been hyping this up, and Nate's been like, Jared, when are we doing this? Jared, when are we doing this? I'm hyping it up for a reason, guys. I promise you, we're getting this going here. We are. We really, really are. I promise. So stay tuned for all the fun that we're going to be having here really, really shortly. And also, guys, if you could hang in there with me on the next goal podcast, because horrible internet issues lately. I don't know what it is. So if I start lagging and glitching, like I think I am now, no, I'm not. You just sat there like you glitched.
Well, you
look like
you were glitching for the last 3 minutes, and now you're good.
Oh, that's good. Well, I apologize for glitching. I figured this is going to happen a little bit, this podcast. I hope not, but yeah, internet issues, always fun. So as always, guys, let's start this podcast off with some questions. We're going to do some Q&A, got some fan mail rolling in here. The first two come from our own John Crane. And he wants to know, we'll go serious question first, and then we can go to the not so serious question. Serious question first from John. Why is there no interest in Trevor Story by the Angels? I'll say this first because we don't know what's going on, John. There's a lockout. In all seriousness, I'm sure that the Angels have had talks about Trevor Story with Trevor Story and his agent. Wouldn't surprise me if they had if they offered a contract to him. The Angels offered contracts to other shortstops. I'll tell you that much right now. I know for a fact that they did. I'm not going to tell you guys who. I'm not going to tell you guys how much. But they did offer contracts to other shortstops, big name shortstops that are already signed. So
it's also good news. It's also good news that he's not in the news, because it feels like anytime a guy the Angels don't want, they always pump it out like, oh, hey, we're interested in this guy, to make somebody else overpay for him. So I think that is good news if you actually want Trevor Story to be an Angel. The less you hear about him, the better. The more you hear about a guy going to the Angels, the less likely it is to happen. So I am hoping that Trevor Story becomes an Angel. So the less publicity we hear, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% down for that. I know I'm probably glitching here because you just glitched out a little bit. We're gonna have one of those podcasts, but yeah, no, it's I don't know. You know, we'll see after the lockout's over, if it ever is over, because it just seems like, I mean, we had this conversation on the last podcast that it just seems like baseball's being run into the ground right now, and I just don't know. You know, I'm not confident about it. So if Trevor Story is willing to sign to a minor league deal, it might happen. We might see it real quick, but I don't think that's going to happen. No. So next question came from John. I'm trying to find it here. I don't. Let me scroll down here a little bit. No, it was under reply. Sorry, guys. I'm working on it. We're working tough on this. There it is. John also wanted to know, have the Angels reached out to Cooper Kupp? Went backwards with the names, by the way. Cooper with a K, Cups with a C. I think it's flip-flopped, right?
It is.
Okay. So I hope he did that on purpose. Cooper Kupp's agent yet about pitching next season. And Nate, you and I both came to the conclusion. I know Nate didn't want to say it, but John, I will say it, and I know you'll get a kick out of this. He did miss the pass in the Super Bowl. Wide open Matthew Stafford. Don't care, you know, anybody could have made that pass. A lineman could have made that pass. He was wide open, so I don't know how he would fit in the Angels rotation. I'll tell you that much right now. Nate?
I think he'd throw really hard and I hit a spot, so he'd fit in with half the relievers in baseball.
That's fair. That is very fair. So, John, fantastic questions as always. Let's keep this rolling here as we can. Next question comes from Juan Carlos. What's up, Juan? Fantastic. I always enjoy talking to Juan about everything. He's a fantastic human being. He wants to know how many players, and this is a weird question. I don't know. You can probably handle this better than I can. How many players, and he quotes, coming up or established have wealth managers, and how much does the club encourage financial health? I'd say, I know that's a tough question. That it really is,
because this is not really open to the public either.
No,
like
I'd
this
say
is
a
not
lot
something
of guys
that people
do.
walk.
I'd say a lot of guys do. Like first rounders, I'd say a lot of the first rounders figure it out kind of quickly. Like, you know, like Adley Rushman, in a sense. Like Adley Rushman signed for $8 million. Like you think about it, you know, it's like, what am I going to do with $8 million? Can I live off $8 million for the rest of my life? I mean, maybe yes, but he probably, you know, invested a lot of it. You know, he probably was smart with it. But you look at a lot of some other guys, you know, you get into anything after the fifth round, and it's like, well, you know, some of these guys might have changed their, you know, bought a house, you know, put a down payment on a house with their bonus that they got in a sense like that. So I don't know how many people. I would assume there's a good amount of guys, especially major leaguers, that have help with their finances. But fantastic question. I really don't know. You got any? You know any of the minor leaguer? You know any minor leaguers that do?
I was just going to say, I know that a buddy of mine who is an agent in Major League Baseball, he has some pretty high profile names. He is connected with a financial advisor. I guess he technically is considered a financial advisor himself, but he has a buddy who will do taxes and things like that for you and just kind of help you through what's going on and where your money should go. So I know that's something that he does with his clients, but that's one of, you know, however many agents there are in Major League Baseball. So I would assume Boris does a really good job with this. I know somebody who is with Boris, and they do pretty good job of making sure that they are taken care of. So I would assume the bigger agencies do this. I don't know about the small time agencies that have a couple clients, but the big time agencies really do a good job with this.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I have some buddies that are agents that I could ask. And I mean, when we're getting some players on, I'm letting you guys know the takeover, like I was mentioning. When we talk to players, I'll definitely ask. I'll probably be an off the record question that you ask. But you know, you look at a lot of players, and Nate and I are very much so like this. A lot of players, a lot of baseball players, once you get to the college level and beyond, and the upper college levels, are very savvy with stuff. You know, you talk a lot of stocks. You talk a lot of how you can make money down the road, And I know, Nate, that's a lot of like clubhouse talk. It really is. So it wouldn't surprise me if
It is.
it's a big clubhouse talk thing. It really is. So fantastic question. That really is. And I mean, just firsthand, I don't know of anybody that does, but you have to imagine like, I mean, I always was savvy talking money with people. There were a lot of stock talk that happened in the clubhouse and the college level. So I can only imagine what a couple $1,000,000 does to you when it comes to stocks and investing and such. So good question there from one. So next question comes from EWs. EWs. You know who you are. I suck at names. So good question here as well. Is Marsh day one leadoff? Nate, I'll let you start it off because I think we might have a little different opinions on this.
Yeah. So if we're guessing what Joe Madden's going to do, I don't think he's day one leadoff. I think Joe Madden will have Dave Fletcher lead off day one and kind of work from there. Would this be something? I've been very adamant that Dave Fletcher should hit ninth, and I think that's where he should hit. That's the best spot for him. But I think day one they're going to let Marsh kind of ease his way in, maybe hit like sixth or seventh, and then get hot and then move him up in the lineup as the season goes along, especially since they are in Oakland to start, which you're probably going to see a lefty to open up the year. So he probably hits sixth or seventh, and as he gets hot, he moves up in the lineup, would be my guess.
Yeah, it depends on who you see game one in Oakland. Like I said, if it's a lefty, it's probably I want it to be Shohei Ohtani. Can I just say Shohei Ohtani? Is that fair?
You can, but I don't think that's going to happen, but you can.
I would love it to be Shohei Ohtani. But if I had to guess, it's probably going to be David Fletcher or insert shortstop. Can I go and insert shortstop?
I guess. I don't see Carlos Correa or Trevor Story leading off, but it's possible.
Can you imagine one of those guys in that lineup, though?
That would be nice.
Be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun. So, fantastic question. I don't know if Marsh is the day one leadoff, though. To give you a correct answer on that, I'd say that if it's a righty, yes. If it's a lefty, it's David Fletcher. And I think that's a fair analysis. So I think we do kind of agree on this one here. So, next question comes from friend of the show, Jacob Cisneros, with talks about draft compensation possibly ending. Which Angels player were the best picks from the compensation besides Trout? So, interesting question that I have not done research on. And the Angels, actually, I have an answer for you on this. The Angels have never had a compensation pick. There's your answer, Jacob. The Angels have never had a compensation pick. I think the Angels have had compensation picks. Like you look at it's been Skaggs. So before pre-CBA, like the compensation picks now.
Before Trout.
Yeah, before Trout, the Angels hadn't had no. After Trout, the Angels haven't had a compensation pick. Trout's the last one. That's technically a compensation pick. And you look at that draft.
It was a comp.
Yeah.
We got the Yankees first rounder that year.
But that was before this current CBA that is now.
Yeah, that was the old CBA.
So yeah, when you look at like current CBA, the Angels haven't had one. You were hoping that the Angels were going to get one with Raisel Iglesias, but the Angels haven't had one, which is super, super interesting. The Angels haven't had a legitimate free agent since Mark Teixeira. Francisco Rodriguez, I think, was around that time too, that they probably got a comp B pick and probably picked up Skaggs or Corbin.
Yeah, that was my thing is like, who have they had that has become a free agent that is like everyone wants? Like, I don't remember them really losing anyone.
No, they haven't. And I brought this up with I think Jeff Fletcher actually, and I think I had asked him, I was like, the Angels haven't had a compensation pick, have they? And he was like, he had to look around. And he was like, no, they really haven't. Like it was Raisel Iglesias talks early in the offseason. We were trying to figure out like when the Angels had a compensation pick. And yes, it was last compensation pick, I think was Mike Trout. So that's pretty, and they're not going to get another one this year. So to answer your question, if you look at the current CBA, they haven't had one, Jacob. If you look at the previous CBAs when you were able to get first round picks for guys, yes, it was Mike Trout or Grichuk. I don't know, whoever they took.
It was Trout. They took Grichuk in the Angels spot, and I know. They were going to take Trout first, but his agent pissed him off, so they took him second.
Yeah, so money talks. I think Skaggs might have been a comp guy. I think he was a second round comp guy. Corbin might have been as well. Cam Bedrosian was either Cam Bedrosian or Chevy Clark would be another one, by the way. I was just looking at old drafts. So take your pick. The Angels haven't had a lot of them, though, Jacob, on that. And I know we didn't give a clear answer on that, but when you look at current CBA, the Angels haven't had a comp. Have not had a comp pick. So good question. I'll look into it a little bit more, too, because I think that they've had some previously, but yeah. So let's call it a day after this question right here. Question comes from Bucky, Bucky 21 on Twitter. Which team do you look forward to becoming more competitive now that tanking will not be rewarded? So which team do you look forward to spending more money? And I'll tell you this much, it's not the Tampa Bay Rays, because Tampa just produces and produces. I feel happy for Tampa Bay players because they'll probably get paid more. But an AL West thing, I'm gonna like if Oakland was outside of the AL West, I'd say Oakland, because I think that Oakland and their fans deserve a World Series more than a lot of teams do. Billy Beane in particular deserves that World Series because he's stuck with this, and he's put up with a lot not being able to spend money in a sense. So you kind of start hoping that, you can start spending a little bit of money if you're Billy Beane. I don't know if you have a thought on this one. Kansas City Royals might be another one for me.
Kansas City has done a really good job of spending money, kind of like Tampa Bay, where they'll spend on certain guys, but they're not going to go out of their way. I think the team that's going to be fun is Miami. Miami has not spent a lot of money in a long time. They have Jeter, who seems to be a very smart individual, and that team could be very fun. The other team that came to mind was Cleveland. Cleveland seems to just be absolutely bonkers with pitching every single year. They get Plesac, they got Bieber, they got Savali, Quantrill. You go through, it's unbelievable how much pitching they have.
Yeah.
So if they can go get there's some talks of a Matt Olson trade in the works. You have Matt Olson with Jose Ramirez in there. Maybe you go get an outfielder or two and you spend some money. That could be interesting. That team is always really good. They don't really spend too much money. Could you imagine if they're spending money?
Cleveland fans deserve it too. Like, you look around, and this is kind of interesting question. Kind of, I guess we can go on a side tangent. What teams deserve a World Series? Like, I know that you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, nobody deserves a World Series, but like fan bases, I think, deserve a World Series.
Cleveland.
Cleveland is probably number one, right? Like, you have to.
Yeah, Cleveland. They've actually tried to win, and they've been there. They didn't get a ship. I feel like Seattle, like, they're close with the drought, but they haven't really tried as hard as some of these other teams. Like, it feels like maybe they tried with the Cano thing and they kind of failed with Robinson Cano. But other than that, they aren't going out and, like, right now that obviously they're going out and trying to spend a lot of money trying to win. But it has been a long time since we have seen Seattle really try to go win a World Series.
San Diego.
San Diego's been trying. I don't think they go about it the right way, so I'm not going to reward bad behavior because that's just how I feel about San Diego. But I think Cleveland's the number one team that comes to mind, honestly.
The fans, especially fans.
I wouldn't mind seeing Toronto win a World Series. It's been 25 years, 27 years. I think 94 was the last time they won. So almost 28 years.
That was 92.
I thought it was 94, but
94
either way.
Yeah.
Like 93, 94. I think Joe Carter was 93, 94 was the strike. So that would be interesting. And then
Ranger?
Miami, not really. I love Miami's team, but I just don't think their fan base has been as.
It's like Tampa too, Tampa's fan
Tampa's
base.
the same way.
It's non-existent in a sense,
It
Montreal might be that way though. Like teams that aren't a thing yet but deserve it. Montreal.
Mm-hmm. That's possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
So, guys, as always, just want to thank you so much for listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos, making us the best podcast out there. Stay tuned. Again, if your questions don't get answered, we're going to continue to bring them up this week as well. We really do appreciate all the questions here. Guys, if you could, pound that subscribe button if you're watching us here on YouTube. If you could as well, like us, subscribe to us on wherever you're listening to us, regular podcast wise. I don't really know what I'm saying. You can follow us on all of our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just look us up at Talking Halos. Again, congratulations to CEO of Talking Halos and Rams Talk, Derek Ciapola, and the gang over there at Rams Talk on a fantastic Super Bowl victory. I know I mentioned it last time, but got to mention it again. I mean, they do a fantastic job there. They really do deserve it. I know they're in LA and everybody didn't want LA to win, but congratulations. Fantastic job. I know I've said it before. So you can follow myself on Twitter at Jared_Tims. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34. And guys, thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your day.